wherever there are customs and traditions inherited from our foreparents, unless these are sanctioned by Islam and they don't go against Islamic teachings, we have to purify our communities from these inherited customs and traditions. It is a must. Otherwise, we cannot go forward. And much of the attack on Muslims today focuses on these customs. Whether it is honor killing, we didn't talk about that one last week, but that's another big area. Honor killing. Something which Sharia has no place for. There's no such thing in the Sharia called honor killing. But among Muslims in the Middle East, in Jordan, Iraq, in Turkey, in Pakistan, we find Muslim family members killing other family members to protect the honor of the family. Usually, it's the males killing the females. A female from the family develops a relationship with a male which the family feels has offended its honor, and maybe rightly so. It has offended the honor of the family. So the father, the brothers, the uncle, they gather together and they murder this young lady. Not to say she was right in what she was doing. Sometimes it's suspicion which turns out to be wrong. But just enough that the honor of the family is threatened and people set into motion actions which lead to the loss of human life. Something which Islam is completely opposed to. It is not honor killing, it is murder. It is murder, and the consequence for it is execution, is death. That is the Sharia. But in countries like Jordan, etc., if somebody kills for honor, the country recognizes the custom, and so the penalty is light. 4 years in jail. They say it's wrong, shouldn't do it, but the full force of the law is not applied. So you will always find a family member who's ready. He will jump up and say, I'm ready to do those 4 years for the sake of the honor of the family. So it is not stopping it in any way. It only promotes it.
As far as in Jordan, an average, I think it's 30 women, an average of 30 women a year are killed in honor killings. Where's the justice in that?
Well, I mean, there isn't any justice there. The question is, there's no justice. What honor killings? Well, how does Islam perceive that? How can Islam has no concept of that. The Christian Arabs do that. Mexicans used to do that.
Mm-hmm. But there are reports of it in other Muslim countries.
This is.
There's reports of it in Pakistan.
This used to happen all over the world. This happened in Christian countries. This is just a situation that existed in many parts of the world. It doesn't justify it, but the fact that it still exists in that part of the world is only indicative of the fact that that familial honor is still an extremely important, if not a central element to those societies. And a woman's chastity is still considered something that is at the essence of the honor of a family, as well as the chastity of a male, but because it tends to be a patriarchal culture, and because of the fact that women, when they lose their virginity, there are generally physical signs of it, and certainly pregnancy can occur, whereas with a man is more veiled than a woman in that situation, but in no way does it mean that a man who commits fornication or adultery is any less condemnable than a woman. Mm-hmm. They're both terrible breaches of divine comportment. But I would say that the Christians have the same concept in their ignorant societies. Arab Christians have done this. So there was an Arab Christian that killed his daughter in Chicago. This occurred in the United States. It's a very sick thing to do. I find somebody would have to be a really sick human being to be able to kill their own progeny. But in America, there's been over 20 million abortions. And the only difference in America is that they say, well, these are unborn. You know, so I think before Americans start pointing the finger at 30 honor killings in Jordan, let's look at 20 million babies that have been killed in America. Right? Really? I mean, America is it's a culture of amazing paradox. Throughout the planet, you will find very similar pathologies manifested by human beings. And certainly America is filled with very dysfunctional relationships. Women here are grossly abused. The number one cause of murder amongst women in the United States is from their husbands or their boyfriends. I mean, you see this. So I don't think you can say Muslims have any monopoly on the mistreatment of women. I think globally we have a problem. The problem in Islam occurs when Muslims do not adhere to the traditions of Islam, to the teachings of Islam, and vice versa. When they do adhere, you will see, in fact, extraordinary harmony occur in the human relationships, because very clear guidelines have been given in terms of gender relationships.
So you're saying that Muslims have themselves to blame in a way that...
First and foremost.